Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Community Matters Committee meeting for Tuesday, for a change. Only for today, though, 24th of June at 7:30. I'll do our fire exit. I know we're all very aware there's no members of the public present apart from Mike at the moment, but we're all aware if there's nothing due in terms of any fire alarms. If anybody hears anything, we can exit out to the front or at the rear if we need to, and the muster is over in the car park across safely. Okay, apologies for absence. We've had one from Mariam today, so that is noted. I can approve that if you like, Steve, if we can get a seconder for that, Jenny, and that's an all in favour. That's an all in favour. Excellent. Okay, moving on to item number 3, declaration of councillors' interests and any requests for dispensation. I'll start. I have none. Sorry, Jenny, go for it.
Did David Gunnell gave his apologies? Team member of Community Matters?
No,
not any longer. No. He's gone. Okay.
But he's not gone. He's just
gone off.
She's back from holiday, unrested, I would have thought, but yeah, not on the particular committee at the minute. Yeah.
So are you saying he hasn't been deported yet?
Correct. Jenny, any request for dispensation?
Red light's not coming on.
You're on.
I'm on. None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of?
None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
There we go. Full house, Steve. Okie dokie, let's get on to the chairman's update report. Quite a few things to rattle through this month, but we will do. And let's start with obviously the delight that was the carnival. We just wanted to make a sort of a note here that we can put within the minutes to thank the community and especially the organisers for coming together in such their numbers and having such a joyous day, really, I guess. I know a number of our councillors were there in attendance on the day and also in the voting for all of the awards that were issued, but the amount of organisation and everything else that went into what was a really successful event, both in terms of the actual procession itself and indeed at the show field as well. I think they can give themselves a good pat on the back because it was definitely something that I think us as a community probably needed to get everybody together, but at the same time such a joyous event, and hopefully their fundraising and everything will be a success into the next year so it can keep on going year after year after year. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that. I know Bob, you took so many pictures.
Yeah, the amount of requests I think was over 100 for individual photographs from the schools, from the dance groups. It was amazing response. It really was.
Yeah, no, a true community event, and yeah, again, sort of thanks to the organisers for giving it to us, really. 4.2 then is the tree work at Redcliffe Bay. So this is just a very brief update. The works itself, I think, began on the 17th of June, and they are underway. It's just a point to note, really, I guess. That was something that we approved as a committee earlier this year to relieve the works on the tree there that were causing a particular health and safety risk to any of our users of the hall as well. So yeah, just a point to note to say that it was work underway. And then just to reiterate on 4.3, the cans service at the folk hall, I think 2 points to highlight here. We've established obviously the Friday session of cans here, so that's been running since the 13th of June. All well and good, in terms of the signpost and the numbers and everything have maintained here, so that's good. We'd still need to obviously just make sure that messages are out, but I think sorry, Janet, I'll come to you now in a sec. I think the second point to note, really, I guess, and this is about respect in terms of how people are being dealt with. We unfortunately had an incident at one of the sessions which has caused distress both to sort of members of the public that we hear and specifically one of our staff members as well. So really, I guess what I want to take the opportunity to do is to reiterate that the service is a volunteer service in terms of what we've got running here. We, as a council, provide our signposting sort of service. We're providing the location and the opportunity for members of the public to leave information in a secure location for cans that we can pick up on. But our staff are to be treated with respect when they're being dealt with. I think that's really important message to put out, really. So, Janet, if you wanted to add to that.
Not only cans are there, but also Claire, our signposter, is also in attendance.
Yeah, no, and yeah, specifically, so as you said, the note about respect extends to everybody, to members of the public that are here, and anybody that's operating either through cans or ourselves or volunteers, which again, you know, might be here to, in essence, support the public and just make sure that they are, you know, treated with respect. Sorry, Mike.
Then next, are you willing to share a bit more information insofar as was this a member of the public coming in to see a member of CANS who then got into a bit of a tiff with someone here?
It was a member of the public and a member of our council staff. So yeah, as you said, you know, we are here to signpost and we're here to provide information. We're not responsible for the service that any of those organisations provide. We are just here to be a conduit and make sure that people have access to the services that are available throughout North Somerset. And on that basis, you know, we've together with CANS, we've supported so many residents in Portishead over a good number of years now, and we haven't really had many incidents of this. But when we do, it takes people by surprise. And, you know, at the same time, it can be upsetting. It can be upsetting for the person that it's directed to, but equally upsetting for people who witness such behaviour as well. And I think we're just reiterating that, you know, it's an open door. It's important to keep it as an open door service, but we need to make sure that everybody's treated with respect and to, you know, understand the information and the constraint of the information that we're providing about other services.
By being open door, you're saying that they are standalone, that the members of the public are coming into this building and seeing members of CANS without being involved with town council officers. Are they meeting here or upstairs? Or
yeah, it's in the folk hall on the Friday.
Our staff should be kind of involved with that.
Well, our signposting officer is part of the team that provide those services as well. But that also extends to, because we are hosting the service here, it might be that a member of the public might drop in at other times during the week as well. You know, just on the off chance that somebody might be here. So I think that message extends to, you know, that respect really, I guess, across the board. Yeah. Okay, so the hall's renovation update. Let me just pop back to the email that I've got on that. So we've got, I think we give an update that's probably not moved much further on than what we did in full town council last week, actually. But we've got the last piece of the Redcliffe Bay halls, which is done. We've got, as we can see, we've got more works which continue here in the actual folk hall itself. Everything that is, you know, in essence, planned and on time is coming in on time at the moment. So there's probably very little else to update. We just wanted to keep it as a running commentary, really, I guess, just to make sure that everybody's aware that everything is on track and is on plan, really, I guess. Okay. Next, the community response engagement with North Somerset Council. So again, let me just pop back to the update that I've got. In essence, we've already been around this sort of piece once before in regards sort of the town council funding any further community response that we all agreed last year as a town council that we were not going to increase or maintain any sort of surplus really, I guess, to the money that they were asking for to add to their team. So at the moment, it's a letter from North Somerset Council asking for engagement to kind of take this forward. We're going to note it. If there's any further information that comes from it, we'll take that forward and provide that information obviously to all. But as it stands at the moment, unless anything changes in terms of the provision, the allocation of resource or anything that we feel is actually value for money, then I don't think necessarily anything's going to change from our position as it was last year, if that makes sense. And the last but one on the agenda is the Portishead Policing and a meeting which has been organised with our MP. Steve, you're organising that meeting for the councillors to meet with the MP, which has been extended. I know our own town councillor Alan George has been in touch with the police and crime commissioner to ask for a meeting which is hopefully going to be organised for later this year as well, just so we can start getting some answers really, I guess, in terms of what policing that we do have in Portishead. I don't know if anybody's been aware, but that there was acts of vandalism and things which were also happening across the course of this weekend. And it's just about that visible policing, sort of, what is it that we are due, and how we can work together to be able to support that. If there's anything that we can do to, to support it, be it, offering, offering sort of places where people can sort of meet, from the PCSOs right the way through to the beat team. But yeah, just really trying to understand if there's anything else that we can do to ensure that we can get something which is more visible here. Janet?
Alan is also organising a meeting with the chief inspector of the area and our sergeant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hot off the press, isn't it? Alan confirmed that. So yeah, we're hoping really, I guess, that's kind of talking to all of the different levels, just to find out whether there's absolutely anything that we can do to kind of ensure that we just work together to be able to sort of provide sort of better services and better, more visible policing. Really, I think we all understand the constraints in terms of staffing and the numbers and where the priorities are. The allocation of the what we've got at the moment. I think from a boundary point of view, we're wrapped up with other areas that obviously take focus, but that doesn't stop things happening here that need to be addressed.
I noted that Sadiq Al Hassan actually spent a day with the antisocial policing team a couple of weeks ago, after I spoke to him, and also the policing team myself. So, but obviously it's Alan's baby, really.
Yeah. Well, Mrs. said we'll do what we need to do. That meeting that you're organising, Steve, is not an open meeting. That's an invite, obviously, only just because of sort of security and everything else that we need to sort of take into account. But yeah, as soon as the outcome of that meeting and any actions that we can do to follow up, along with obviously Alan's meetings that he's having with the inspectors and everything as well, and the PCC as well, we can make sure that is out and we can summarise all of that for everybody and get those updates out. And then last on my update is just the resident drop-in. So we, just because of the work that was going on here in the folk hall, the Imperial kindly hosted us for the last Friday one in May. but we're back to normal at the folk hall for this coming Friday, where we hope really, I guess, to welcome people that are talking about the consultation that we're currently doing around the devolution of the services as well. So there'll be specific information that will be available here for that too. So that's between 3 and 5 this coming Friday back at the folk hall. But yeah, more purposefully, this point was just to thank the lounge for hosting us in May as well. So thanks for that. Okay, so on to the minutes of the previous meeting. So we were. I've got the copy here. Go. And I don't know if we've got who was also present at that last meeting.
Yeah.
No. Oh. Okay, so Jenny, you weren't. Bob, you weren't. Although Mike, you were substituting for Jenny. So yeah, we've still got. Weren't here. Janet. Yeah. Okay. So we've got enough of us, just about. So yeah, I can propose that, and if we can make a second, and then for those who were present, so that's just us three and yourself, Janet, if you're happy to do so.
Thank you.
Yep. Just about scrape through on that there, Steve. So I'll sign that at the end. No worries. So that recommendation, if we do it properly, that the minutes held on the 23rd of April, as previously circulated, to be approved as correct record and signed by the chair. Okay, so unless anybody's joined us, they haven't. We've only got Mike here in terms of public, but you know, in your council role, anything that you wanted to bring up, Mike? Excellent. We shall move on. So item number 7, North Somerset Council Cycle Forum. So this is just a note that a meeting was held on the 3rd of June. I don't know, Mike, if you've got just a verbal update for us in terms of that. Yeah, come and join us. Thank you.
Thanks. Right, for those of you not in the know, the Cycle Forum is held 2 or 3 times a year, and we circulate around between Clevedon, Weston Town Hall and here. Well, I cycle, yeah. Another representative from Portishead cycles down there. Actually, I went across to Nailsea and Backwell, caught the train down and then reversed that route. And so, yes, this one was held in the Town Hall. And we represent the area, including South Gloucestershire. A member comes down who represents the Bristol Cycle Forum. The Avon Cycle route is covered. Representatives from Weston in terms of social groups and various other things. 3 officers from North Somerset, including Ben Searle, who is the specific cycle officer, who lives in Bristol. So he commutes as well on bike. And as I said, there's another chap from Portishead who is a member of the Portishead Cycle Club. I think I'm the only town councillor from anywhere. As far as I'm aware, there's no representative from Nailsea or Clevedon. We discussed various items related to cycleways, as you can appreciate, including the network, the Strawberry Line. Our chair is, in fact, the chair of the Strawberry Line kind of group. And the specific items I recall on that particular meeting earlier this month were related to cycle routes across Weston. The promenade, of course, is a shared route, but a lot of pedestrians, even though it's a wide stretch, as you know, don't like cyclists on it. And so they're trying to find a route through, avoiding the high street, but going down sort of one of the alternative routes. Steve knows Weston well, don't you? So you know, sort of off Meadow Street, isn't it? Sort of cutting through to the boulevard. And so they're working on that. And I think there's a small route around by the big shopping mall. What's the shopping mall called? Sovereign, thank you. I think there's a little stub of a road there they're planning to use. But as you can imagine, North Somerset doesn't have much money to be doing all this stuff, which is one of the reasons why I've not particularly flagged up anything in relation to Portishead, because I just know that there's just no money to put a big route in. I'd love to see the section of Nor Road bypassed through the golf course. Janet, at the very top behind the fence, have a cycle path there leading down to the golf club and then onward down to the picnic ground and pick up the lake grounds, because the Lido is on the National Cycle Network as a link, and so the meeting sort of just evolves like that, and it's quite well attended, and I think it's quite useful, which is why I go. Any questions?
Yeah, no, thanks, Mike. I know. I think before you were nominated, I think I covered a couple in the last couple of years, and yeah, they're really interesting actually, just to kind of understand how the whole active sort of program really, I guess, sort of links together with it. But yeah, I think it is important for us to still be represented on there, because there are so many opportunities to have to once and if investment becomes available for us to be party to that, isn't it?
Well, indeed, so yes, and it's an open meeting, so anyone could go.
Anybody, yeah. That's true.
The next one will be here. They're hoping anyway, because Cleveland situation's changing, isn't it? Because they're flogging the building off, I believe, aren't they, Castlewood? So yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, great. Thank you.
Just a quick, as it's an open meeting, is it possible to advertise it on the town council
We have done.
website? Have we done that before?
Yeah, we have done previously, but we
Good.
can make sure it's part of the communication plan. This as well.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point, but I'm not sure that I'd want 100 members of the public turning up.
No, it's an open meeting, but you do have to organise an invite in that sense. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have a word with Ben Searle.
Yeah, we can open the channel to be able to sort of request an invite, can't we? So yeah. Excuse me. Thanks, Mike. Okay, as you said, we've got to be in it to win it, haven't we? So might as well keep abreast. Okay, on to agenda item number 8, which is the grant application from Now Hear This Music CIC. I'll read this out in full just to make sure that everybody's fully aware, really, I guess, in terms of what provision this actually is. So we were considering a grant application of £5,000 from Now Hear This Music CIC, and this is to help facilitate and to deliver the meaningful, inclusive educational music and activities for people of all ages. This is sort of open to all everybody, really, I guess, including those affected by any disability, to bring the community together for collaborative learning performances. So a meeting was convened by the Grants Working Party. So we discussed the grant. We discussed the grant in relation to the situation that we're in with a reduced funds pot this year as well. And on that basis, the recommendation that has come from the Grants Working Party is that at the moment anyway, we approve a grant of £3,500 as the award, and then offer the ability later on this year to reapply for the balance, dependent on obviously how much of that money is actually being used to facilitate the fantastic work that Laura and the team are doing, to actually sort of get more people on board with the service and with the provision that Laura's providing. So I don't know if everybody's had chance, hopefully you have, to actually read the grant application itself. Our recommendation is to approve the payment of £3,500 in accordance with the grant application. But over to you guys, really, I guess, in terms of if there's any questions or any commentary or anything that you want to add to it, really. No. All good. I know there's an open invitation that Laura has given the council just to get a few members of that group and the participants, in front of us as well. just to sort of show us their talents really. So I think we probably just need to remain mindful of that, just to take Laura up on that offer as soon as we've got capacity to be able to do so. Janet?
I think that would be a brilliant idea, and I'd like people to think about the possibility of, prior to a full town council meeting, maybe at 7:10 or something like that, that we invite different groups in, like say dance groups, music groups, to actually form before a town council meeting on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah, to give people that platform, isn't it? Yeah.
And also it will bring people into the meetings, of course.
Yeah, of course. No, that's a great idea, Janet. I think there's definitely, I mean, all groups are looking for funding. Now Hear This Music has got an event that they're actually having to host in Peel in the coming months as well. So I think that probably, once we do the minutes of the meeting, we'll add the details to that. That's a fundraiser that they're having to sort of organise as well. But I think on that basis, I think that's something certainly we can take forward, Janet. Mike, do you want to add?
Might be worth mentioning that as far as I can recall,
do you want to come to the mic just in case for the online recording, Mike? Sorry.
I think it's worth mentioning that as far as I can recall, she's trying to move out of the youth club because of capacity reasons, isn't she? And she wishes to perhaps take Redcliffe Bay, but I think the acoustics were a bit of an issue there. Is that correct?
We had and I think that we can sort of mention this really, I guess, in open forum. We had a meeting with the Arts Council along with sort of the representatives of Now Hear This Music last week, just to understand what opportunities that we've got to access further grant funding, either as a council on behalf of the town in that sense, to actually provide better services and facilities as part of our halls, and that included to improve the acoustics of different locations. The youth centre. There's the recording studio there, and just to make a sort of a shameless request as a trustee of the youth centre, we're looking for funding to improve the youth centre, the recording studio, and everything there. There's just so many opportunities, really, I guess, in terms of making sure that those people that are using the services, we're joined up and we're using the money efficiently, where we can access grant funding and where we can actually get, groups really, I guess, together to work in harmony, excuse the pun, in terms of the old music. But it would better what services and what provisions that we've got as a council as well. So I think we need to extend our thanks to Laura for facilitating that meeting last week, which was great. And as I said, if we can take any opportunity to access any additional funding, as a town council or additionally for any of our organisations in the town, we probably should do so. But I think we're well lagging in Portishead in those certainly large venues, really, I guess, that would be able to facilitate Laura being able to provide the service to many users at the same time. Janet, Mike, and then Janet.
Dare I ask, just as a slightly provocative question, if we ever take on Somerset Hall, is that somewhere that potentially could be explored to making it a centre for music and other activities?
Maybe so, but the constraints of the users of Laura's services, really, I guess, would, because of the disabled access and the lift, it's not currently fit for purpose in terms of that kind of access. So that would warrant a lot of investment to be able to make it safe for numbers of users, and indeed that's the reason why Laura's having that Somerset Hall was booked, but because of issues with not being able to constrain the number of people that are using any mobility aids of any sort, then she's had to move to Peel, unfortunately, which is, yes, sad state of affairs. Janet?
It does make me wonder why we don't think about taking over, if there was enough funding, a building in Old Mill Road and turning it into an art and music centre for the town.
Yeah, it was certainly a number of the ideas which were sort of put on the table last week. Some of them more realistic than others in terms of what we can do with our own funding. But at the same time, we shouldn't stop thinking those things, because if we just constrain ourselves to where we are today, we're not really going to get much further on. So everything needs to be on the table, I think. Okay, so if I move on to the recommendation then. So the recommendation is to approve the payment of £3,500 to Now Hear This Music CIC in accordance with the grant application. If I can have a proposer, take your pick, Steve. So we could take Janet and then Jenny to second, and then I think if we are all in favour, unanimous. No worries, and yeah, as I said, we've depending on how our grant pot is looking towards the end of the year, given that we're at a lower threshold this year, then we would welcome Laura to come back and to be able to do that. Okay, so the item number 9, the signposting and referrals officer report. So I don't have it to hand on my notes that I've got, but don't know if you've got it there, Steve, in printed matter, but we've run through it. I don't know if anybody's got any particular questions. Obviously, the report now is in relation to our services that included the Friday at the folk hall as well. Sorry, Janet, I thought you were going to say something.
Yes, all it really gives is figures.
Yep.
But I note that the move to the folk hall hasn't changed the number of people who come at all.
Yeah. No, it exactly the same, and in essence, our age range and whatever else, and hopefully, I mean, given the facility that we've got here, and the fact that we've got the post box that can be used securely throughout the week, hopefully that does give access to more of our residents to be able to access the services that both we as a council and CANS are providing as well. But we'll obviously keep a review of the numbers and just make sure that we're maintaining that communication through what we're doing through the social media channels and through other sort of printed material through our residents as well.
It's more to do with the sign on the Beacon Hub window, actually, because people were so used to going there, and now they know because of the Beacon Hub window that it's over here. So okay, so item number 10, we've just got a small amend to our recommendation that we've got here, and we also probably need to check how practical that is before this upcoming weekend. But you'll see in the pack there's an email from a production company, Moonage Pictures, for a request to cite lighting equipment for a film, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So that's on the 30th of June. So between the hours of 6 p.m. and 5 a.m. the following morning, the film company has contacted North Somerset Council. There's no objection that's been noted from that. We've got an email in the pack, as you said. Hopefully everybody's seen it, with the details of the proposal, which in effect is us to grant permission for the use of the play area and the temporary removal, subject to refitting of a section of our Tango rail. So that's our rail that looks like a continuous W down there. So the recommendation is to consider granting the permission regarding the temporary removal and subject to refitting of the section of Tango rail, providing consent for filming is granted by the local authority and all health and safety and legal requirements are met, with the addition being that it's we've got a local contractor that maintains that rail, and we know that we've invested as a council in the replacement and repair of that across the course of the last financial year as well. So we wanted to make sure that if we are given permission, then it is it's reinstated to that, and we're going to put that make sure that we're putting them in touch with our local provider to either to do or to oversee those works. And are they going to? Oh, I'm sorry. Are they going to give us some small donation to the town council to say thank you very much for letting us use the
I,
area.
I don't believe that that was in the email or has yet to been discussed. I don't know if you've got I did read the email, but I don't think it has been. But that's it's a good lessons learned, really, I guess, that we
I
could take
think,
into next
people
time.
have to pay for places to film, and I think that we need to take our pound of flesh as well.
Yeah. No, good point. Martin?
My question.
Right, okay. Yeah. So no, I think that probably should just feed back into what we use that that bit inside the play area is it was sort of passed over to Portishead Town Council. Can't remember how many years ago now. It was 4 or 5, yeah. So that's that's our land. I got the voice for that today as well. Sorry, good Mike. Thank you.
Knowing social media as it is, I hope this council won't then get tarred with endorsing the murdering of young women in this town. But I too agree that there should be some financial gain for the town council. I mean, it's an opportunity to use our facilities to earn a bit of extra.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And yeah, thanks, Janet. Okay, so we need to, is it a recommendation or a vote that we need to take on that, Steve?
Yeah, let's vote if you could.
It's a vote, yeah. Okay, so the recommendation,
Sorry, can I just ask,
Yeah.
is it a film or is it a series that was set up by the BBC in conjunction with Netflix?
It-
Because obviously the
That's-
first series went out in 2024.
I'm afraid I do not have time for television, so you're asking the wrong person here.
Is because obviously that would mean that they possibly might end up coming back again for a third series. Because obviously, if it's in conjunction with the BBC and Netflix, it's obviously been successful.
Yeah.
Well, Chair, I think the way that it works, it's made by an independent production company called Moon Age Pictures,
Yeah.
who then sell it to whoever's willing to buy it, I suppose. So because it's been successful in the past, I should think there may well be.
So they may
well
be back.
become the,
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
The backdrop, or
was it Dr. Martin? Was Port Isaac, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So we never know, but next time it ain't going to be free, Janet, is it? Okay, so the recommendation with the amend, Steve, to consider granting the permission for the use of the play area, temporary removal subject to refitting, to be overseen or conducted by our approved supplier or words to that effect of the section of Tangle Rail, providing consent for film is granted by the local authority and all health and safety legal requirements are met.
Can I just check? Will we have to pay our local provider for that?
No. Not us. The cost is wholly down to the production company.
Yes. But if it's overseen by our provider,
They will be the ones that pay.
We would pass that cost on.
Yes.
If there's a cost to us, we would pass it on to the production company, but we will get them to deal directly with the contractor.
Okay, so on that basis, I can propose that. If I could have a second. Yep. That's okay. Bob second, and I think no worries. All in favour, just barring Janet when she's with us. That's okay, Janet. We're fine. We're no problem at all. So that was all in favour with the amend. Item number 11 is the room name change. So we're asked to consider a report for the room name change in the folk hall. So in effect, swapping over the name of the Fedden room for the Eve Wigan room, and vice versa. So the Eve Wigan room will become the room down here, and the Fedden room will become the room upstairs. The request has been received from the Nautical Trust to accommodate the movement of artefacts. So we've got a report attached to. We haven't got a report attached, have we? It's just relatively self-explanatory. But Martin, go on.
Could their artefacts be left as it is now?
They were removed from the Fedden room about 4 years ago,
Okay.
and it was always going to be that we would transfer them up to the Eve Wigan room when Wendy was here, and that I would oversee putting them in when the Eve Wigan room as is had been painted. Has it been painted?
Yes.
Okay. Please, could everybody let me know when it's going to happen? Because I don't want everything put up random. It's got to be done proper. I know, but I did this, you know, so I can jolly well do the Fedden room. But I'll get you to carry that.
So barring the move of the cannon, so the recommendation in effect is to ensure that the name of the Fedden room goes with the artifacts, and it moves up there. I don't know what space that these things are likely to take up, but I don't think it's not going to cause any issues to our.
They absolutely filled the room downstairs. It was covered, including the cannon was in the fireplace, and a ceremonial sword was in a glass case above it, and it wasn't secured in any way. It was very funny. It was actually quite a sharp sword.
So we just need to make sure that along with the move, we've got necessary security, or indeed some of these items are not on sort of public display, really, I guess, or secure public display anyway. Yeah. So at the moment, we're only looking to address the name change, and then I guess we can address the actual artifacts in due course. So Janet, do you want to propose that as you've had your?
Very much so.
Excellent. And do we have a second for that, Martin? And then all in favour? I think we're all in favour, so that just means, I guess, the following actions to Mike to change the bookings and whatever else that needs to come along with that. And if there's any changes to our website that Amy needs to make in terms of, I don't think anything else. I'm sure Mike will be all over everything else that we need to do on it as well. Okay, so item number 12 is our loan working policy. So this was delegated to us as a committee from Full Town Council last week, because not all of us had chance to be able to actually review the policy. So at this point, just to make absolutely sure I'm, giving you the accurate information, I'm going to hand over to Able Assistant Steve, who will run through the amends and changes that we need to agree on.
Yes, Chair. I asked the staff to comment on the draft policy that we were taking to council, and I've had a few comments back, which I've incorporated. You'll see the changes. One is that it makes no difference, I don't think, because we'd already referred to our legal duties of responsibilities to staff, but we've now included further clarity of calling it a duty of care, which is fine. One of the main issues that was raised by several members of staff were that there are occasions when the offices there's only one person in the office. And despite the fact that the doors are locked, the building is still accessible during the day from people coming in, booking other rooms. We do have, uses of the Fedden room as well. So there are people in and around the building regularly, and some of our staff feel a little bit vulnerable. So the change I'm suggesting we're making is that we work to ensure that there's always a minimum of 2 people in the office during office opening hours, so that we will cover that. But if there are very rare occasions where it's necessary we can't secure 2 people in the office at the same time, which I think once the new staff start, I don't think it'll be much of a problem. But in those cases, I'm suggesting that those officers be allowed to work from home during that period of time. That will make them feel happy that we've actually addressed their concerns. It's not going to really change much because staff already do work from home some days a week. All it means we'll do is Sharon and I will sit down and work out a rota so that we've got cover during the normal opening hours, so that if public are coming in, that they will be able to see people. So it's not a big change really, but I think it will mean a lot to the staff who submitted those comments. So yep, that's it.
All right. No, thank you, Steve. I mean, it's just a pragmatic solution, isn't it, really, I guess, in terms of what we need to do. So I'll come to you in a sec, Mike.
Can
So,
I just
Jenny?
check what are the opening hours?
It's 10 o'clock to 12:30, I think. Oh no, 9:30 to 12:30. Pretty sure. Yeah.
Any other questions around the table? We've got Bob.
Yeah, obviously with the loan worker policy, our company's obviously dealt with it quite a few months ago. We're still trying to adjust to it because a lot of us are loan workers at work. So obviously things like tracking little pendants that we have. And I think the loan worker policy is going to constantly change as mechanisation changes, AI comes into place, and I think that it's going to be quite a vast policy in the
Dynamic
end,
enough to be able to cope with it, isn't it? So, yeah. Mike, did you have your hand up? No. Mike, did you want?
I did, yes.
Sorry, you get any steps into
A couple of things. Steve, is there a panic button up in the offices upstairs?
There is a panic button installed in the main office. Yeah.
And one of the other things which could be done very easily is down in the foyer, we could have an illuminated sign, digital thing, just to read out as to where room meetings are. So that you don't get people wandering around because they can't find out where their meeting is. There used to be one here, and it was very useful. So even us councillors would turn up and say, "Oh yeah, it's in the Eve Wigan room." So I thought Fedden room now. So I think that would be useful to get one of those again, so that users of this building can identify which room their meetings are in.
Yeah, noted. Spike. Okay, so so in lieu of our delegated responsibility here to sign this off on behalf of full town council, I can propose, if I could have a seconder. Yeah, Bob. And are we all in favour of its adoption? Yep, it's a full house. No problem. Okay, so we're now to agree the communication plan from the items that we've covered in the meeting. I think we've probably got some noteworthy items to include from the chairman's update, Steve. So certainly things like our thanks to the committee of the carnival for the works that they've done there. Probably reiterating the CANS service being here in the folk hall. And I don't know if there's anything else necessarily from that, given that the policing meeting is behind closed doors, probably, just our knowledge of it through here, really, I guess, probably doesn't need to go on our communications plan. The grant application, or the award of the grant application, and if it's feasible to do so, the link to the next fundraiser that Now Hear This Music has got in Pill. There's definitely tickets still available for that. Is there anything else that, Mike?
I just wanted to add on the carnival. It may be implicit, I'm not sure, but to thank all the people that set up and organised and ran floats and ran the stalls and the music. And if it's a good point, that the event was oversubscribed.
Yeah. No, thank you. Janet?
Would it be sensible to mention the room change?
Yes, it would be. I guess that will need to be done in, excuse me, in conjunction with Mike getting the information out for the current bookers as well. But yeah, we might be able to do that just as an info piece. Yeah. Okay.
Also, is it possible, Steve, to arrange some time with Mike when I could come in at the same time as Steve to get the stuff up when it's not being used.
Pretty much quiet up there at the moment, so yeah, should be no problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thanks if everybody's in agreement with those points, nothing else necessarily to add, but so date of next meeting, agenda item number 14, so we've got that chalked for Wednesday the 23rd of July, so back to the usual Wednesday slot for us, 7:30, and we'll probably still be down here, won't we, I think? Yep, no problem at all. Okay, so we are 2020, we'll close the meeting at that point. No worries. Hey, thanks everybody.